For centuries, the saying, "the apple does not fall far from the tree," had been passed down through generations. In a vast field near a meandering river, a solitary apple tree stood, overlooking the panoramic landscape with a breathtaking cliff in the distance. This tree found itself pondering the truth behind the age-old tale, which had been weighing on its mind for days, months, and even years. Every summer, as the tree observed its apples falling and forming a circle around it, the validity of the saying seemed to be confirmed. However, one day, during a conversation with its apples still clinging to the branches, they collectively agreed to challenge and debunk this notion. They yearned to prove to the world that apples could indeed fall far from the tree. Unbeknownst to the apples, the tree harbored a hidden dream: to witness an apple tree growing proudly atop the magnificent cliff it so admired. After days of planning and contemplation, the tree and its apples devised 3 potential strategies to achieve their goal. While their primary focus was to demonstrate the possibility of falling far, the tree secretly desired to see its dream fulfilled. The agreed-upon method involved tossing the ripe apples as far away from the tree as possible. The hope was that the fallen apples would then take root, giving rise to new trees that were progressively farther away with each generation. 2 of the 3 proposed paths followed this strategy, differing only in their direction. The first path aimed to reach the cliff, while the second path traced a route towards the river. The third and final path, forged in collaboration with the insects surrounding them, particularly the ants, involved a mutually beneficial exchange. The apples agreed to provide food for the ants, who in turn would carry the apples to the far side of the cliff. The ants embraced this endeavor with great determination, as they too sought to traverse vast distances. As the years passed, the apples and trees pursued these 3 paths with unwavering determination. Each new generation surpassed the previous one, continuously increasing the distance from their ancestral tree. This steady progress served to validate their belief that falling far from the tree was achievable through gradual improvement rather than a sudden leap. After several decades, the time came when the first apple finally reached the riverbank, and a new apple tree took root near the water's edge. With its branches and ripe apples suspended above the flowing current, this tree reveled in the awe-inspiring view it offered. As soon as its apples ripened, they devised a new strategy, one that no longer required them to leap far away. Instead, they embraced the water's current, allowing it to carry them to diverse locations. Wherever an apple found itself stranded, a new apple tree was planted. Coinciding with this generation, a tree sprouted at the pinnacle of the cliff. Adorned with magnificent green leaves, it became a radiant star in the region, captivating the attention of nearby apple trees. From this vantage point, apples were free to tumble downhill in all directions, rolling and scattering seeds as they went, thereby sowing new apple trees far from their birthplace. Simultaneously, the path forged by the collaboration between the tree and the ants extended even farther than the one leading to the cliff. The ants, increasingly proficient in their task, carried the apples to various destinations, spreading their offspring in all directions. As a result, the surrounding area thrived with a multitude of apple trees, each surpassing the previous generation's reach. The tree that had initiated this grand endeavor observed the flourishing young trees surrounding it, witnessing the growth of apples striving to surpass their predecessors year after year. As it gazed upon the tree perched atop the cliff, tears of joy welled in its eyes. The tree realized that what it and its apples had agreed upon long ago had finally come to fruition. They had successfully disproven the centuries-old myth and shown the world that apples could indeed fall far from the tree, as long as each subsequent generation strived to improve upon the last. Moreover, this newfound realization revealed that apples from both the cliff and the river trees could leverage the force of gravity or the flow of water to venture far from their roots. Through cooperation with the ants, the trees exemplified the power of leveraging assistance from others. In this symbiotic relationship, the ants gained a reliable source of nourishment, while the apples acquired steadfast travel companions capable of carrying them great distances. In that moment, the old tree's memory was stirred, recalling another age-old saying uttered by a wise man. "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." It marveled at how, by leveraging their collective efforts and finding a supportive foundation in nature and companionship, they had indeed moved the world of apples and trees.